All right. So thank you everybody today to our podcast, our webinar slash with Andrea's week. You know, she's a really amazing friend, and the funny things that I was introduced, we were introduced by Julie, a really good friend. Julie is in the call, so thank you, Julie, for this connection because uh, we love Andrea. You guys will love Andrea after this, so you guys need to know her. That's why we brought her today. But just to tell you a little bit of background of Andrea, you know, she spent 3 years and she was working in corporate, and then she just went directly to investing. You know, she was not a real estate agent. Like a lot of people think that they need to be an agent before they start scaling in multifamily or any kind of real estate. So if you want to go, Andrea, and then you want to share a little bit about your background, who are you, where are you from, where you're located, and then we're ready for that.
I'm Andrea from Allen, Texas, and I originally was from California. Well, still from California originally. I moved here a few years ago, and that's because my husband and I wanted to basically change our lives and have more family time. I came from a Silicon Valley high-tech background. I was in executive communications, and I worked all the time, as did my husband, who worked at Apple for many, many years, managing an engineering team. So we decided to leave our life of working all the time, and we moved to Texas, and it's been amazing. There's so much more focus on family, and we're spending so much more time together than we did previously.
All right. No, that's been amazing, Andrea. So I would like to go to the beginning. Like why real estate investing? How did you get to actually start reaching or looking for some information about how you can start investing? Because I know that you came from corporate, but even I know a lot of people that in corporate, they're just expecting to get retired, to get, I don't know, to 63, 65 years old and then get retired and expecting a pension. So what happened to you? Why you start kind of looking at different ways to kind of grow?
Yeah, so we sold our house in California, so we had some capital. We also had some 401k, and that's pretty much all that we knew. We were just invested in the stock market. Our companies would match, our 401k, and we were thinking that we would retire at 65. We didn't really grow up with families that invested in other things. So when we had some capital that we were sitting on, we're like, what do we do with this? And I met with a financial planner, and what they told me was to buy more stocks and put it more into the market. And I just didn't think that was exactly the solution that was right for us. So I started looking into ways that people invest, and I looked at the 1% of the 1%. And I wanted to see what they were investing in. And so one of my neighbors actually moved from California to Austin, and I asked him what he was doing. And he said, I buy single family homes and I rent them out. So I was like, okay, that's a good first step. So let's buy a house. So we bought a rental in Austin, actually, and then we put a renter in. And I was like, what? I was very surprised because I think I was netting $100 a month in cash flow. And I just remember saying, how many houses are we going to have to buy, to get to retirement? Like, I don't think this is moving the needle as much as I expected. And, when you buy a single family home, there is a lot of appreciation that can happen through the years, but it depends on what your goal is, right? So if you want cash flow, then a single family rental is probably not going to give you the cash flow that you're looking for to retire. But if you're looking for appreciation, like you're going to sell that asset in a few years, then that might be very well where you want to go. For us, though, we wanted to scale and we wanted cash flow. So after that, I decided I was going to get into flipping because I am a big fan of Chip and Joanna games. all of that HGTV life, And so I'm like, I could do this. So I love design too. So I found a property actually in Waco that I think it was like $70,000 or something like that. I'm like, if I mess up, this is not going to bankrupt us, right? Like if I mess up, we're going to be okay. So this was like my little project. And then I remember going to like Angie's List or something like that and looking at contractors, because this house, by the way, was a hoarder's house. It was nasty. It was like I didn't even want to go into it until it was all cleared out. So I didn't set foot into the property until it was like bare bones. So I hired this contractor from Angie's List, and he told me that he could do it all and for really cheap. That should have been my red flag right there. Like, no. But I hired him without meeting him because of his great reviews. And I remember then finally, okay, the house was cleared. I'm going to go see the house so I can put my design together. And I remember meeting him, and it was like my brain was like, alert, alert, alert. This guy seems shady, like, oh my gosh, not good. But then I like remember asking my husband, like, what do you think about him? Is he like giving you, any vibes of like crooky at all? And my husband's like, nah, I think he's fine. I'm like, okay, let me not listen to my gut and let's like take a chance on this cheap contractor, right? And oh my gosh, such a bad decision, y'all. Reviews are paid for, okay? Don't trust a guy that is cheap, first of all, or has good reviews. Recommendations. So anyways, long story short, this guy like took a lot of money, did not know what he was doing, put in crooked walls in the house, had to fire him, had to pay him off because I didn't want him to come back and burn down the house, right? And then I hired a contractor that I have since used for all of my projects. That house was such a big learning opportunity for me. We were backwards. I was gonna quit. I thought I was not made out for real estate investing. I just was like, honey, what did I get myself into? This is not for me. I am so thankful to have an amazing husband who supports me and loves on me, because he told me that I needed to keep going. And he's like, you can do this. He's like, it's okay if we're backward. Just keep going so that you finish. And it was the best thing that could ever happen, because if I had not finished that flip, I don't know if I would have ever gotten into syndications, which has transformed our life and our future. So I could go on and on about all my stories, but that definitely was like a pivotal moment for me to get into then Airbnbs and syndications of multifamily. And then now we're syndicating vineyards.
Oh, that is pretty awesome. And I would like to touch a little bit about the vineyards at the end, so I would like to you share a little bit, because that's something that I'm really interested in kind of digging a little bit, right? Because you were talking to me a little bit and this sounds pretty cool, so, but did you actually, Andrea, did you make money or you lost money in that first flip?
Okay, so I'll tell you, we did end up making money, and all transparency, we made $70,000 on that first flip. However, I would have been completely backwards. It would have made no money. We would have been in the negative. But I'm a really big, like, think outside of the box type of person. And so I'm like, how do we shift this, right? How do I get it into a positive? And I thought like, oh my gosh, what if we just add square feet? And so then I talked to my contractor, worked out the numbers, and we ended up adding a bunch of square feet. And then that's how we were able to sell it for more. So
interesting. I love that story. And okay, so it was a single family flip, right? And then you start doing Airbnbs. That's kind of was your next step. And how did you get into syndication? Before I give the word to Helen, that Helen has some questions here. So how is that connection came from single family to actually start syndicating or start thinking in grow bigger, buy bigger assets?
Yeah, so we continued with flips, and then we still have our short-term rentals, and we really wanted a place that we could scale faster. So I remember attending a networking event, and one of the big mentors got up on the stage, and I just remember this one statement that resonated so much with me, which was, a single family home every year you may be able to increase 100, maybe 200. At the end of the day, though, that's going to take you a really long time for it to create a lot of cash flow. But when you think about multifamily, you're doing those increases across all of those apartments across every year, right? So if it's like 100 or 200 times 100 units or times 200 units, that's how much more income you're getting per year. So I was like, I am so in. This is the way that I could finally scale. So that's how we got into multifamily.
That's pretty good. Do you have a question right there, Helen?
Yes, yeah, I got a quick question. But first, I would like to say thank you so much for your time and to sharing all your story with us, because it's such an inspiring. And also, well, I would like to ask, like, well, you were in California and then you moved to Texas, but how do you have the time? Like, you were working, but how do you have the time to go and do the flips? So it's like, people usually have their job and they feel secure in the job, but trying to do something real estate requires the time, and then they don't want to leave the job because they need to pay the bill. So how did you do that?
And your kids too, no?
Yeah, I have 3 boys and a dog that's a boy too. Yeah, no, that's a great question, Helen. So I am not working full time, but remember my flip was in Waco. So I was not there all the time. The only time I could go was packing up the kids, the dog, the grandma, my husband and I, and going on the weekends. And that's when we would check on the house. Now, once I got that good contractor in, I just had him send me photos to see the progress. And then we established just like a really good rapport and trust. And like I said, he now does all of my flips all the time. He actually did my next flip without me ever setting foot into that property. So that was a game changer. I could do flips without doing it, like without ever going, and that saved a whole bunch of time. I just like drew stuff, showed him exactly what I wanted, picked out the materials, he would pick it up, he would put it in. I'm like, take pictures, he shows me videos on FaceTime, and that was huge.
That's fantastic. So how do you find the contractor? Like, did someone tell you, or how was it?
Yeah, so my biggest recommendation is to find a local agent where you have the property that you want to invest in, and whether it's single family or multifamily, find a local agent that you could talk to, that you can trust, and ask them for recommendations. Because if their reputation is on the line, they're not going to recommend you somebody that's a crook or that hasn't done multiple jobs for them. So I would say ask your local agent, and then reciprocate, have them help you in the process, whether you're buying or selling, because they're giving you those vendor recommendations.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because then at the end of the day, it's like you need your team to make this happen. Because if you were alone, I don't know how, if you will do that. It's impossible with all the kids and the work and the family. So hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Relationships, whether in single family or multifamily, is 100% essential.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and Andrea, so what was your biggest actually motivation to get you get that financial freedom that everybody's looking for?
It really goes back to feeling burnt out in corporate feeling like we were constantly interrupted, just living our normal lives. I remember my husband was coaching T-ball and he was getting a call from work that was urgent from his boss. So he had to like stop coaching to answer the call. And it was just like, is this the way that we're really supposed to live? So really finding good quality family time was the goal and the motivation.
I love that. That's interesting. You know, so you want to try to build your time with your family, get that time back, right? That have that freedom to spend actually that time that you didn't have before. So no, that was pretty awesome. So Andrea, are you still doing your, I know that you are doing syndications right now, right? So are you focusing this 100% of your time, or how are you focusing right now your, if you compare before with you're doing your flips and your job, and how does your journey looks like today?
So basically I don't sleep. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I do flipping still, actively in contract on our next high-end flip here in Dallas. I run my Airbnbs, but I have systematized. So I run my Airbnbs. I oversee the property management of them. It takes me less than an hour a week, and I don't have to pay the 30% to property managers in locally where I have my Airbnbs. So that's been huge because I've created a whole bunch of systems and processes. And then I do my syndication, so talking to investors. And then I'm also starting a coaching program. So andreaswick.com, cwik.com. I am basically wanting to teach beginners or individuals how to get into real estate investing, whether it be something on a single family scale or multifamily. I want to help people with that.
Love it, because that's your, you have a mission, right? That is not just also have time, that freedom of time to spend with your family, that you are planning actually to bring people to get that time back with their families. So I love your mission, Andrea. So that is pretty awesome. So before I give the next question to Helen, so if you want to elaborate a little bit more, Andrea, about your systems and in place, because I know that you told Helen already that that you're kind of like your family and everything, that you are so busy that you try to. So when do you, how do you do it? I mean, I'm just curious about a little bit about your systems, your place, or what you're doing. If you want to go and elaborate a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will say that going from zero to, whatever, over 1,400 units, asset under management, I could never, ever do alone. It is all because of a team. So basically, if you want to remember this, if you're doing single family or multifamily, think of rise and shine, okay? So rise is, the R is for relationships. You need a team to help you. You're gonna need an agent, or you're gonna need a property manager, or you're gonna need other syndicators, general partners. You're gonna need investors to be successful. So the biggest thing you can do to build relationships is get out there and network. And when I tell you to network, I mean network with everybody, because whether you think that person is, worthy of your time, your talents, whatever, just be a giver, because it is all going to come back to you. And I really believe that you never know who you meet and what they can unlock for you, and how you can also unlock something for somebody, right? And it's like, in this world of syndication, we're always like chatting with potential investors, or we're meeting other people. You never know, you could be talking to a partner. But a lot of times we stop ourselves from even going to that networking event. And I'm, putting myself, when I was a beginner, even now, going to a networking event isn't always easy, right? We're like, oh, what am I going to talk about? Oh, there's going to be so many new people. Oh, everybody's going to have friends, but not me. Oh, right? It's hard to put ourselves out there. Am I right? And so what I'm saying is take all of that energy and like put in your mind that, okay, I have a lot to bring to the table. I am a gift, right? Like I am valuable. I can give a lot of good information. I could help people. I am, let's just have good self-talk to ourselves instead of like all of that negative self-talk, right? And I know that every single person on this call or, watching the replay or whatever it is, y'all have something to bring to the table, okay? Everyone is equal. Everyone is just a person. Just because somebody has 10 years of experience or 4,000 units or $1 billion, we're still just people. We're all the same, okay? So just put yourself out there. Just talk to anybody, like just ask them, how's your cat? Or do you have a cat? Or do you have a pet? I don't know. But you could just like think of questions, think of stories, maybe a funny story about your kids, or just have something that you can cling to, think about that would create interesting conversation with others. Okay, so relationships are super important. Image also super important. So I don't know if mostly people are multifamily or single family. Your image is important. I'm not saying you have to be a supermodel because that is not what I'm saying at all, but I'm saying know who you are. And like, if you want to be a person that's known and your reputation is known to be an uplifter, to be an encourager, then don't be a negative Sally. Like, don't be complaining all the time, right? So we have to think about what we're putting out there. What do you want your reputation to be? And then live your life in that way. So definitely, I don't want to be mean or anything, but sometimes I get emails and it says MailChimp at the bottom, MailChimp logo. That doesn't look professional. So like, let's just like level it up a little bit, right? And then you want to look professional, you want to put your image out there, then just look at everything from website to emails, how you're coming across to others. Just be who you want to be. Okay. Self-assurance. Like I said, let's talk positive to ourselves, right? So S is the self-assurance. Know that if you're not even at the place now, right, to be an investor or thinking that, oh, maybe you don't have the skills, equip yourself. Speak positive to yourself. If you're not there right now, you will be there. And what you can do right now is talk to people, read books, listen to podcasts, okay? Like do everything you can to get super knowledgeable about where you want to go. So one of the things that I'm working on right now is my website for my coaching business. I just bought a whole bunch of books on how to become an expert and how to what language I can put out there in my funnels. Went on to Amazon, looked at whatever Russell Brunson has, because he's like the king of funnels, right? So I'm like, what does Russell Brunson have to say about funnels? I'm going to read every single book. I've already listened to them, but now I'm going to go and read it and highlight. And you know what I mean? So do things that are going to move the needle to where you want to go. And you can always ask for help too. Okay, so we're at the S and now the E. So rise, E is execution. So we're not just going to sit down and we're not just going to read our books or go to networking events and not do anything. What are we gonna do and actually take action on? So it was a very big leap of faith to buy my first flip. It was a very big leap of faith to get into my first syndication. We prayed about it, my husband and I. Oh my gosh, we just thought like that's a lot of money to entrust into someone that we don't really know, but their track record looks good, their experience looks good, they had credibility in the ecosystem that we were in. We prayed a lot, and then we're just like, you know what, if we keep thinking and waffling, do we do it, do we not do it, do we do it, do we not do it, right? We're not going to take action. So execution, take the action that's going to get you to where you want to go. And then the and part is really adding value. So it's the value amplifier. How are you going to add value to others? It is not about taking, right? There's a lot of people that want to know how I got to where I got, or they want, they want all this information, which is fantastic. I want to share it. But look for ways that you can add value to people as well, right? Mentor figures. What could you help them with? So one example is I had a lady reach out to me and she wanted my advice on some area of real estate investing. I gave her, what she was asking. And then I was like, hey, I actually have this women community on Facebook. Would you want to help me moderate that? Because I really want to get people excited about being in this group. So you know what she did, and she's been sending DMs to get people to post more. And it is a way, right? She doesn't have experience, but that was a tremendous way to add value to me, which is I don't have the time to keep engaging and re-engaging with my audience that's in this group. Well, it's not technically an audience, but like other, women that are powerful that are in this group. So she's helping me be more engaged in that group. So I'm sure that everyone on this call or on the replay can add value in some way, shape, or form, and you can shine your light in whatever way you're an expert at.
Wow. Was it good, guys? I'm really excited, and thank you, Andrea. And so Andrea's time is really available here. So make sure that you guys send some love through the chat. You guys feel free to, just send some claps, some fire, because I was amazing. I forgot my notebook, but I was writing in any paper that I found around. So all the notes that you were telling about. So I see that Gabby, she has a question right now. So you want to go, Gabby, before I let Helen go next? Go, Gabby.
Hey, thank you so much. I've so enjoyed these Tuesday nights, you guys. A question, Andrea. Organize or structure your day?
How do I organize and structure my day?
Yeah.
So I tend to wake up and then I go straight to the Bible and I do devotions. I pray, and then I might chat with my husband or grab breakfast, and then I get right to work. It's really just mapping out what are the 3 main things I want to accomplish in the day. And if I don't get to them, then I move them on to the next day. But I try to accomplish 3 things a day.
Okay. Did she answer your question, Gabby?
Yeah, you did. Like, I'm struggling with organizing, knowing what to get done. I think now that I'm learning about the multifamily, so sometimes it just seems all overwhelmed to try to get everything done. And I know you're a mom, so I'm just trying to pick your brain to see what you can bless me with getting my the kids together, because I have 3 girls, and then still do my job and be a multifamily investment too.
Yeah, I mean, I empathize. It is a hard juggle. If I didn't have my husband who supported me and was super involved. I don't know how I could do it. He gets the kids ready for school. So shout out to my husband, JJ, who's absolutely amazing. So I can manage most of my work from 9 a.m. to I try to do around 3-4 o'clock, and then make dinner for the kids and then eat as a family. So in that small amount of hours, I manage my VA. So that's been huge. She helps me with social media. And then I basically have a list of goals like that I want to reach every single day. It is a hard balance. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Gabby, for your questions. Helen, you want to go next?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. This is so much knowledge. I have been writing all of here down. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, one other question, like you have been bringing your husband as in the conversation, and of course, having the partner with you is very important because doing it alone it's not the way. So how, well, at least when you have the spouse, no, if you have that with you, because there are people that are single, but for the people who has the spouse, how can they talk with them in order for bring them motivated, or to, I don't know, like
Be in the same
keep
page?
them motivated, yeah, to invest with you and invest the time to learn more of the family, or maybe how do you involve your husband so that way he is bringing you so much value?
It really is communication. I mean, that's like the number one thing. My husband and I talk all the time. And so I actually brought him to the event with me that day that we talked about, they talked about multifamily. And we looked at each other, and we decided that's the way that we wanted to scale. But if he wasn't at the event, I would have just had a conversation with him and help educate him. But he's on the same page as me and what our goals are. So I think talking about your goals together would be my number one advice. And then getting him up to speed on whatever knowledge, you have, and really paint the picture of what your life can be after, whatever you want to accomplish. So after real estate investing, what is that picture going to look like for you and your spouse? And have him really buy into the vision, because support is incredible when you have it.
Thank you so much.
No, that is awesome. We have a question here on the chat with Irma. So she's basically asking you, Andrea, about, can you talk about your first multifamily deal, your first multifamily acquisition? You want to relate a little bit about that one?
Sure. So my first multifamily deal was with some partners that I kind of knew, that I felt like it was a breakthrough to even have a deal. So I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. I remember we were not the lead GPs, but the lead GPs had somebody back out of their raise. And so they had a gap in funding. So they asked us to be part of the deal. And mind you, we did not have website systems in place at all. By the way, that is like another conversation because it is so important to have that all set up. But we didn't have like the CRM, all of the things that you need to brand yourself. But what we did have was our phones. And so we were invited to be a GP to capital raise for the deal. And my husband is part of the investor relations and asset managing. They took a chance on us because we had never done it before. And we just tried to add as much value as possible with capital raising. And so we got on our phones and texted a whole bunch of people. And this might be helpful if there's any syndicators on this. What we texted, I think, was huge because it got the conversation starting. And what we texted was basically this. It was, hey, Joe, or, Sally, do you want to buy an apartment building with me? Question mark. It was literally that easy. We kind of overthink like this whole syndication thing, and we have to have like all the information, but they're your friends, right? They're your family. So we just texted that, like, hey, do you want to go and buy an apartment building with me? And everyone would respond. So and it just kind of got the conversation going. So yeah.
Mm. That was pretty amazing. I love that. I love that. I always you're sharing gold nuggets here, Andrea. I love it. That's why we knew the people want to hear your story. That's why we brought you in, and I'm really happy that actually you are with us tonight, because a lot of people they needed to meet you. So also Gideon Valentin, he's asking, like, I'm sorry if I say the name wrong, which computer programs or what application do you use to manage everything? Do you have any advices or any?
Basically, I use a lot of Google Drive. So I live my life on Google Drive because I think it's amazing for collaboration. And I use my VA for a lot of things. So it's easy for us to share information back and forth. If you're talking about like social media stuff, I don't know exactly, what exactly he's looking for, but if you're posting on social media, an app called Lensa is awesome for editing photos, for video. I use CapCut, computer programs. My husband does all of like our website stuff. He has an online marketing agency, so he takes care of that and the CRM. It's all together in one package. So yeah, let me know if you're looking for some more information specifically.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, I hope that Andrea answered your question. So let's talk a little bit about partnerships, because I know that you are really involved with, she's really close friend with you. You guys are partners in business. You know who I'm talking about. So how important is for you to bring a partner on board, to scale? Or why did you bring a partner on board to work with you? Syndication.
Yeah. So a partner is huge because there are some things that there are going to be gaps in who you are as a person that you can find a partner to fill in those gaps. So for me, I am a very big visionary and I have lots of ideas. And then I have a partner who actually does a lot of the execution, and she's into the details. And I feel like most people are not both. I want to say, there might be one person who's a lot more social, or a person that maybe isn't as. So yeah, we just complement each other super well. I think you're talking about Rachel from our podcast, Good Investing. And we said that somebody's going to come and say hi, I think. Are you going to come say hi? Okay, sorry about that.
So good.
Okay, but I'm in a meeting. You should at least come and say hi. Here, come this way. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good.
Where was I?
No, you were talking about your partner Rachel and why you guys decided to go in the podcast and everything. So
yes. So the podcast idea I kind of threw out there at a meeting, and she was like, yes, let's do it. And so she takes care of all of the back end podcast stuff. When we have investor, when we're featured on podcasts, she does the coordination of all of it. I tend to mostly concentrate on talking to investors, but she does too, but she just is more of the details logistics person. And then I'm more like, let's get on this magazine or this, online. Are you going to say hi? Hi.
Hey.
And so, yeah, so finding a partner that can balance you out is huge.
Yeah, and I know that you guys start your podcast on how many episodes do you have? Just to kind of
I
like
think we're on like 40 something.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys, in your journey. And I watched one of them. It's amazing. You guys should be actually. What is the name? Just to kind of start, and if somebody can help me in the chat to write the name for all
Oh
of
yeah, the podcast is Good Together, and then investing, and that is a syndication podcast. So we basically take the idea of syndication. A lot of people are they do a lot of details about syndication, and maybe it sounds more complicated than it is. So we try to really break it down and make it super simple to understand.
Okay. And I want to elaborate about your vision, because you say you're a visionary person and everything. So what was your vision behind actually create a podcast and start providing value to people? Why you thought that you're gonna do that?
It was really because when I didn't know anything about real estate investing, I felt like I was at a deficit of knowledge, right? Like I didn't know something huge that could ultimately transform my life. And starting the podcast was with the vision of let's change people's lives, and they don't necessarily have to join. We paid over $100,000 in education to learn about syndication. So for us, it was like, let's unlock this for others for free. Like let's put out a podcast, and if people want to listen to it and get educated, then they can. So that was the reason, is like maybe we'll help transform somebody's life.
That's awesome. And let's go to results. I'm really interested why about this topic. So how did you see your journey changing after you started providing value to people?
Well, it's like we no longer, as corporate employees, we had a ceiling, right? You waited for a promotion, you waited to get recognized. And as a real estate investor, we can take on however many projects, right? And we could get into multiple partnerships, and we could just scale so much faster. And for us, it's not like we're trying to acquire yachts or private planes. Like that's not the way that we are. That's not necessarily, our goals, but we do want to have financial peace, and we don't want to worry about money anymore. And we want to help others with the same thing. But overarching is we really want to make an impact in this world, in our community, and we want to show our kids how they can do that too. And we really feel strongly that when you receive more money or build more wealth and you use it for good, then more just comes to you, and you just become this conduit of receiving and then giving, and then you receive more and you can give more. And it's just such an example to our kids to continue this journey of community impact, because we don't want to leave our kids with a big trust fund.
You don't?
Did y'all hear that? Oh my goodness. No, we don't want to leave them with a big trust fund. We want to leave them with experience and skills that they can use for their families. And then we want them to do good as well, and they can start being generous from now, right, to others, and then continue that as they grow older.
Wow, Andrea. And before I give the next question to Helen, so I want to say again, thank you for actually opening the doors for your house, with your kids and everything, because we are seeing the real you. And this is sometimes we prefer to see people in that way than maybe, let's say, in a networking event where people are just trying to talk about the best of them or what they accomplished. No, we're seeing the real you, and we appreciate that. So I already know you, so I know who you are. So I appreciate you are sharing with some other people how about who the real Andrea is. So I just want to say a big thank you to you. So, and for all of you, you guys have questions, we're going to be opening soon the questions. If you guys have any question, please make sure that you raise your hand there, or just write something on the chat that we will help you with that. So do you have any other question, Helen, right there for Andrea?
Yes, yeah. Well, she was also talking about the importance of networking and meet people and go there, show up. So how do you find those groups? Is it a local or national? So that way everyone's also knows and they start networking.
Yeah, I mean, there's some paid programs that you can get involved in, but there's also some free ones. Like I know Jonathan has meetup groups. Good Investing has meetup groups. Just meetup.com and then type in syndication or type in real estate. I'm sure you'll find a syndicator. But yeah, these webinars are essential. Going to the meetup groups as well. There's a lot of free events that happen.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
All right, we have a Jimmy, a really good friend. Do you have a question, Jimmy?
Yes, thanks, Jonathan. Hi, Andrea. Thanks for sharing. So this is Jimmy from Seattle. Really excited to hear what you have to share today. You also mentioned earlier one of the biggest thing is relationship building. Really interested to hear what you're sharing on this, because some people when they go networking, I mean, they have no problem meeting new people at the events, but right after that, how do you build relationship? How do you get from the first meetup until like become a closer partner, closer friends, or eventually become a partner, or some people will turn into like a lifelong friendship, right? How do you do that?
Yeah. So my friends who are on this call will tell you I am all about quality, not quantity. So there are some people that meet hundreds of people at a time during these networking events. And I tend to like just really meet people and know more about them and who they are and what their values are and just dig in deep on friendships. And I feel like because I dig so deep, then people get to know me. And then it's just a natural wanting to partner together. For me, I actually don't even carry business cards. I don't know if anyone would agree with that, but like I don't. And when people give me their business card, if I connected with them, then I'll say, add me on Facebook and let's be friends on Facebook, because I'll get to know them and their family. They'll get to know me and my family or my business. They'll just see me more often. And then I was like, and then we can take it to the DMs, or like set up a call from there. But I would say like for me, that's what I concentrate on, is more just building the relationships one-on-one, going out to lunch if they're local, and just investing the time on the individuals.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
That was an amazing question, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you so much. So Andrea, I'm wondering about what is your goal? So how do you see yourself, let's say, in 5 or 10 years?
I want to be on a beach retired. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that does sound good too. Well, I want my husband to be retired 100%. I want to be traveling a lot more, but I see myself still, in educating and helping people and coaching people. I really want just the impact of changing people's lives to be part of my future. I really would love to help a lot of people, and then community impact. Maybe it's starting a nonprofit, but definitely helping in my community a lot. So yeah, no numbers, I guess, nothing interesting like that in terms of like, I want to be at $1 billion. Like, no. But I want to have complete financial peace.
Yes, no, I love that. I love that. So Andrea, if you can give before I give to Helen again, if you can give an advice to yourself let's say 5 or 10 years ago, what will be that advice that, to start all over?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I think that I probably would have just said, believe in yourself a little more. I think when I first started, I've always had some confidence, like not being as confident. So when I tell you to be confident is because I know what it's like to not be confident and believe in yourself and have that negative self-talk. I think I would have just been like, believe what God says of you for real. Like, and believe that you won't fail, because it is easy to quit. Yes. Can you please go to Tabby, honey? No, seriously. Go to Tabby. He's free. Okay. But yes, I would just say, like, just overcoming yourself obstacles and objections, and it's more of like this mindset thing. And I will tell you that one of the biggest game changers of my life has been to stay in my lane and stop looking at other people's successes and saying that like I'm failing because other people are succeeding. That probably was like the biggest thing, when I actually believed that Andrea is on her own journey and my success is one road, and I'm going to go to my road and not look either way because I have my own road to success. And when you compare yourself, that can make you really unhappy. So don't compare yourself to others, period.
I love that advice. Like, I just taking notes like crazy today. No, thank you. Thank you so much. Helen, do you have any other questions there?
Yes, yeah. Oh my goodness, me too. My notebook is full of notes. This is fantastic, and also how your mindset is so strong. So I have like two questions. The one is about the mindset, like how do you build such a strong mindset? Because that is true. The way how you see the situation that is happening to you, you can think like, oh, this is a problem, or no, this is an opportunity for me to grow. So how do you develop that strong mindset? And then I will have another question.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's my faith, and it's been like constant going to God when I feel like I'm lacking or that I'm not enough. And I pray that God would show me what He believes of me, not what I believe of myself. And one of the things that I've done is that I write, so I fold a piece of paper in half and I write down all of the negative things that my mind is telling me about myself. And then on the other side of the paper, I write the opposite things down, and I choose to concentrate on the opposite things, the good things that I truly am.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. I have done that a couple times. Like sometimes when the mind is full of thoughts, if you write it down, it's like you get the peaceful in your mind, and it like you can see clarity. Did that happened to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Thank you so much. And also, what my other question is, if you had to start multifamily again, let's pretend there are a couple years ago, and let's see that you have your family, let's see that you have a job from 9 to 5 and only 50K or maybe 100K in savings. How would you start again having all this knowledge that you have now?
So in starting syndication, I would listen to podcasts, attend events that Jonathan, Tony, and Sergio host. I would, just look for information, books. There's so many books out there. You could contact me, Good Investing. I mean, like, there's so many resources out there. So once you get your knowledge, then find a person that you trust that you meet in person at an event, right? So filter out the people that you meet and then lock into that person that you trust and ask them, I don't really have experience. I don't really have time, but I want to make time. How do I add value to you? What is the biggest needle mover for you that I can help with? And y'all, sometimes you're going to work for free. Like if you don't have, money to be in a partnership, an ecosystem, whatever it is, like sometimes like sweat equity will go a really long way. And I know for me, like there's people in my life that I just want the best for them and I will like do anything for them because they've helped me, right? Like you just look for ways to help people and it's going to reciprocate back to you. I know it is.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. So Andrea, I know that you're also, and we spoke this a little bit at the beginning, that you are doing a different kind of syndication that I'm really curious about how this works and everything. That is about the vineyard thing. If you want to relate a little bit, I know you know more than me, so I'm all eyes, ears open to hear everything. So I just let you go.
Yes, so we have a webinar that we've recorded that goes on the ins and outs of the vineyard, where we interviewed a family that's actually harvesting grapes right now, that has been doing it for the past 7 years. So basically, it's a syndication where we're toiling the land, kind of close to Lubbock area, and we are planting grapes. And we're going to be harvesting them. I think it's around year 4 or 5. And then we're going to be selling the grapes to vineyards. That's basically the gist of it. And we're looking for investors, although this is 506B. So I'm not asking for any investors, by the way. I'm just telling you about it as a caveat. So we are wanting to partner with people that are going to be part of the business of having land and selling these crops to vineyards, to wineries, because there's a huge gap of grapes that are needed to produce the amount of wine that Texas people consume of Texas wine. It's so crazy. It's like there's just like not a lot of supply. So we're building that supply, and that's going to go on for at least 23 years. And so the investors will be partnered with us and part of the business where they won't see returns for maybe like 4 years, but after that, they're going to start, we're going to start selling those grapes, and there's going to be a return that comes, every single year after that. So.
Awesome. That's pretty good. And you're an active investor in that one, right? Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
That is good, because I missed that one. I remember that opportunity there. I missed it. So
I'll send you the webinar.
please. Yeah. I'm always open to diversify, because that's a way for me to protect my own investments, right? So not to put all the same eggs all my eggs in the same basket, right?
Yeah.
So and you say something really true, Andrea. If you want to sit at the table, just go and serve water, right? I mean, that's basically you want to do it for free. You want to just have connections. So that's something that you just find what you can bring to the table to help some people that maybe are in a level that you want to be there. So that's it. This is pretty awesome. So do you have any final advices for somebody that maybe are thinking we have a lot of action takers in this call. That's why people are here today. So do you have any advices for people that actually get to be like you in terms of mindset, in terms of that you see yourself with freedom of time and spending with your family? Do you have any final advices?
I just think the overarching theme that y'all could take away is that success is for you. And you can be successful. I didn't even talk about this, but I come from very humble beginnings. My mom is from Ecuador, single mom We rode the bus, didn't have a car for some years. And she came from Ecuador at like the age of 32 or something like that. And my dad left. I didn't even meet him. I didn't know him my whole life. So I did not come from money. I just think it was, one, getting the right information, and it was taking risks, and it was meeting the right people, and a whole lot of prayer and faith, and really believing in that you can do it and that success is for you.
That is awesome, Joe. Thank you. Let's see if somebody have any question before we close this Q&A. This is the moment for you. But again, Andrea, I'm gonna say thank you so much for your time, your knowledge, or your advices. Like I say, I took a lot of notes. Usually I take notes with some people, not with everybody, right? So I really appreciate that. So it's always great to talk to you in person, by the phone, by messages. So it's always fun. So I'll recommend you guys actually follow Andrea. So where people can find you before I let the question to Gabby. So where people can follow you, how people can find you, if they have any other questions. So you want to share that with everybody?
Perfect. So I created a value add property guide on andreaswick.com. So if you put in your email, you can download that for free. And you could also stay tuned on future courses that I do or programs that I do. But I am on TikTok as Real Simple Real Estate. So that's my TikTok. And then I have a women's Facebook group called Wire Women in Real Estate Investing. Women in Real Estate, yes. And then I have my business page, which is just Andrea Swick Online. I think that's the handle. But if there's a way to get my information to everyone, it's basically just go to my website and then we can connect from there or find me on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you. And we have Gabby. Gabby, do you have any other questions?
Yes, Andrea, I wanted to ask you, how do you find your investors and how do you know the investors are a right fit for you?
How do I find investors? Some of them have come through our podcast. A lot of referrals. My friends have graciously referred their family and friends to me. When I meet people, again, I'm not about the quantity, I'm about the quality. So I tend to build relationships. And they want to know more about what we're doing. And so I really think if you are open and you're authentic, people will be drawn to you. And when they see the way that you're living your life, right, then they want to know more about what you're doing.
Nice one, just being you. I think that's the right way to do the things, right? So thank you guys. I don't see more questions right now, so we will go to the breakout rooms. But I want to say before we go to that one, thank you, Andrea, really so much for your time. I know that you were busy. Probably you will prefer to be spending that time with your family and kids. So we appreciate actually you being here with us. So and for all of you guys, again, we will see you every Tuesday in our cash flow impact call. We will go right now to the breakout rooms. So we will finish the recording right now. So thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciate that. And thank you, everybody.